Today we have a veteran community moment presenter and a member of the Oasis Board of Directors, Verena Kalhoff. Verena.
There we go. That's much better. Good morning, everybody. What I'm going to talk to you today about is a mystery, or rather sacred mysteries. One of our core values that speaks particularly to me is the reality is known through reason. I'm very data-driven, and so that is one of those core values where I just go like, yep, that really works for me. However, as I was growing up, going to Catholic Mass, we were always, they were always announcing the sacred mysteries, the Holy Trinity, the Virgin Birth, and of course the body and blood to flesh and wine. And I was wondering at the time if this was ever to become necessary, whether or not I would be able to get away with Immaculate Conception. I never had to figure this out, never had to try. I don't think they would have let me get away with it anyway. But so when you hear about these sacred mysteries, of course they're all supernatural phenomena that are associated with divinity and religious ideology, and beliefs that cannot be explained by normal, rational, or scientific means. Now, I happen to be a problem solver. If you come to me and you tell me this is a mystery, I'm going to go like, well, let me help you solve that. So a mystery to me is really nothing but a challenge to come up with a solution and to figure out some kind of explanation that might solve it, figure out whether it fits. And I do think that a lot of humans have the same tendencies, even thousands of years ago. When the plague raced through Europe, when people were born with Down syndrome 1,000 years ago, polydactyly, something like that, well, they came up with whatever explanation fit their frame of reference. So they associated with whatever god or gods were on vogue at the time, right? It fit within their parameters. And essentially that's still what we do today. Now, of course, today we understand that infectious diseases are caused by pathogens, by pathogenic microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, you name it. And even though today we would go in and say, yes, this is what we understand, human-to-human transfer, et cetera, there's still a lot of things that we don't 100% understand about all of these. Down syndrome, polydactyly, we understand genetics to a degree. We understand genes, introns, exons, we understand duplications, deletions, trisomy 21, all of that, epigenetic factors, yet I would argue that there's a lot about genetics that we don't understand yet. And, but that doesn't mean that this is all stuff that we will never understand. There is an explanation for just about, in my opinion, there's an explanation for every mystery there's out there. I might not be able to explain it today, partially because, when it comes to certain areas of interest, I don't know much about them. And in other areas, it's because we as humans haven't understood all the natural underlying phenomena that lead to that. But still, when you present me with a mystery, I will go in and say, okay, well, this is what we think happened. This is my hypothesis of why this might be occurring. I'd go in and I'd test those hypotheses, if I can, in any which way, and come up with the best possible explanation. Now, with a lot of mysteries, one of the things that I keep in mind is that I'm talking to humans that are intrinsically bad at seeing everything that goes into a certain event. I mean, we all know eyewitness accounts in the courts are fairly unreliable. We are fairly easily duped. And in addition to that, people exaggerate. The fish was really only this big, right? So that's always a possible explanation in my mind as well. But all too often when I'm faced with people who are like, oh, well, what do you mean there's no mystery in life? Where do you get inspiration? What does one have to do with the other, really? I would question that a mystery is what's needed for inspiration. Inspiration is what you get from what you perceive, right? I mean, just because you can't explain what causes the colors in a sunset doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy it, right? Just because I can go in and look over a forest and tell you about the citric acid cycle, everything that turns the leaves green and red, etc., doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to be inspired by it. But frankly, what inspires me most is humans. Is people going in and saying, okay, this is reality. This is why reality is the way it is. This is what I think human life should be. And so I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to use whatever I can to make reality very different for people 200, 300, 400 years from now, people I will never meet. So I don't, anywhere along the line, need mystery to be inspired by human kindness and what people do on this planet. Thank you.